بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم
शुरू अल्लाह के नाम से जो रहमान और रहीम है।
اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق
पढ़ो ए नबी अपने रब के नाम के साथ जिसने पैदा किया।
خلق الإنسان من علق
जमे हुए खून के एक लोथड़े से इंसान की तख्लीक की।
اقرأ وربك الأكرم
पढ़ो और तुम्हारा रब बड़ा करीम है,
الذي علم بالقلم
जिसने कलम के जरिए से इल्म सिखाया।
علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم
इंसान को वो इल्म दिया जिसे वो न जानता था।
Assalamu alaikum students. We start our video in the name of Allah who is most beneficent, most merciful. This is the fourth week of first semester final term and today is third video lesson. Today we are going to study a small story and we'll try to understand it and then we'll do some exercises after reading this lesson. Before we start reading and understanding this small lesson, let me tell you what is the genre of this story. Well, the word genre is used to describe the kind of either a story, a movie or a song, any piece of art and literature. For example, in movies we have different genres or different kinds: action, thriller, comedy, and these are different genres of films. In the songs, for example, we also have different genres: pop, disco and others. So in the same way, the stories or the piece of literature, they are also divided into different genres. So today's lesson, the title of today's lesson, which is unit number 17 of our book, is The Inheritors. So the genre or the kind of this story is folklore or folk tale. So we read this word folk, F-O-L-K, when we were reading The African Village. If you remember, the word women folk came in that lesson. So what are folklores or what is a folk tale? Well, the word folklore is collectively used for the traditional beliefs, stories, anecdotes of any particular community. Right? And the word folk tale, it is used to describe a story, a traditional story of any community which is passed through generations by word of mouth. So originally, folk tales are based on any community or any culture, and for centuries or for generations it does not come in a written form. Rather, it passes through different generations from word of mouth. Means they are told and retold generations after generations. So different languages, different cultures, different communities have their own folk tales. So when we talk about our own Pakistani folk tales, so we have different stories which were originally told orally, and maybe later in the modern era they are penned down by some writers and now they are available in written form. So this story, The Inheritors, was originally it was told and it passed on through generations by word of mouth. and finally it ended up in our book, and now we have it in the form of a small story. So our basic purpose is of course, to learn language and to be familiar with different language structures, language parts. So we want to learn it in English, but at the same time we also have a chance to be familiar with our own cultural story, you can say, or our own folk tale. Okay, so as the title suggests, this actually is a story of two brothers who are inheritors. The title is Inheritors. So let me discuss the word inherit. This is the root word, and this is going to help you understand many other words, relevant derivatives or other words. So to inherit means to receive money or property as an heir. This is what is the meaning of inherit. It's a verb which means to receive money or property as an heir. Well, this word heir may be new for you. H-E-I-R, heir. Heir means a person who receives the money or the property after the death of his or her parents or relatives. In Urdu we use the word waris for heir. And inherit means to receive that property or money. The noun from this verb is inheritance. Anything, any property or the money which somebody receives is called inheritance. Okay, so the noun is inheritance. So the story Inheritors is a story of two brothers. It is also the story of deception, of cheating. All right, it is the story of how a cunning and clever brother, he deceives and cheats his younger brother, right? And on the other extreme we see, these are two extreme characters. One, the elder brother, is very cunning, is a very deceptive person as a character, very smart, clever, you can say. And on the other extreme we have very simple person. Even one might doubt that such characters, do they exist in our communities? But still, the world, in the world it is possible that we may have, such simple characters. So the younger brother is a persona, or is a personification of simplicity, innocence, and you might say maybe fool, or such words can also, negative words can also be used. Okay, so this is the story how an elder brother deceives the younger brother, but at the same time we'll see that this world, it provides a chance for the simple people to grow up and to start thinking and to to be smart enough to catch somebody who is deceiving them. So this also comes in this story. So we'll see that how the younger brother comes to know about the reality of his elder brother, and then we'll see that how both of them, they started living on equal terms. Okay, so we do not know the origin of this story. As I told you, it's a folk tale. So probably for centuries it went on orally. It passed on to generations only by word of mouth, and now we have it in our, in written form. Okay. Well, so we have two characters. Azam and Muazzam. Azam is elder brother, and Muazzam is the younger brother, right? So we'll see how different these two brothers are and what happens and how the elder brother deceives the younger one. So let's start reading, and then we'll do comprehension and other exercises. A poor farmer had two sons, Azam and Muazzam. Their mother had died in their childhood. Now their father also died, and the boys inherited his property, which consisted of a cow, a date palm tree, and a blanket. Well, so probably this was a story of a farmer, a poor farmer who was not very well off, okay, and his wife had already died. He had two sons, so he was a widower, all right, and finally when he died, so his property, whatever the property was, it passed on to the two brothers. So the property consisted of three things: a cow, a date palm tree, and a blanket. So these boys inherited these three things from their father. So inherited means, as I told you, inherit means to receive money or the property as an heir. So these two were the heirs of this farmer, and so by principle, this property had to be divided equally among or between both of these two boys. So what we'll see how they divided. Azam, the elder brother, was very greedy and clever, but the younger brother Muazzam was simple and trusting. Azam suggested that they should divide the property left by their late father. So the word late here means a person who is dead or passed away, dead. So we use this word late with the names of those with those persons who are no more in this world. So Azam was elder brother. He was very greedy. Greedy means having a great lust for money, or power or wealth, having selfish desire for wealth or power, and such a person is called greedy. So he was definitely a greedy person. He had great or selfish desire for money and power. And clever. He was very clever, cunning. But his younger brother was simple and trusting. Simple and trusting means he would trust anybody, or he would just believe in anything which was told to him. So Muazzam was very simple and trusting. All right. So one day Azam suggested that, okay, now father is dead, so here lies the property. Why not we divide it, among ourselves or between ourselves? So how shall we divide the cow, for instance? Asked Muazzam. Cut it into two. Well, this sentence of Muazzam, it shows, the simplicity and the innocence maybe of this brother Muazzam. So he asked, how can we divide a cow? Can we just cut it into two halves? Well, this question suggests, which Muazzam asks his brother, it suggests that he was very simple, and it proves that he was definitely a simple person. No, stupid, answered Muazzam. We shall just divide it verbally. Right? So the answer to this question, the elder brother, Azam, said, no, you stupid. You fool, this is not the right way of dividing, a cow. Rather, we shall only decide about it verbally. Now, verbally means orally or by means of words. Something which is said or which is decided in spoken language, it is not written in black and whites, so that is called verbally. So for example, there could be a verbal agreement between two parties, okay, which is not in the written form. So this is what Azam, or the elder brother, he suggested, that this division of this property should be done verbally. For instance, the front part of the cow, which is the better part, shall be yours, while the rear part shall be mine. Agreed? Well, this was the suggestion of Azam. For cow, he said, the front part of the cow is better. Well, we don't know how it was better, but this is what he suggested, that the front part is better. Okay, it will be yours. To Azam, he said, and the rear part. Rear means the back part. You know, the hind part will be mine. Do you agree? He asked. Oh, yes, thank you very much. Azam was delighted with the generosity of his elder brother. Well, generosity here probably is used, you know, in a mocking way. This is what he thought. You know, as a reader, we don't think that it was a generosity, but since he was very simple or a, you know, stupid person, you know, Azam, so he was delighted. Delighted means very happy on the generosity. He thought that his elder brother, Azam, was being generous, and he showed his generosity in making this decision that the front part of the cow will be Azam's and the hind part of the cow will be of Azam's. Okay. Well, let's come to the other two properties. This is how he divided them. Similarly, the top of the date palm, which you cannot climb, shall be mine, while the lower part, that is the trunk, shall be yours. Agreed? Well, that's another unjust division. So what he decided, that the front part, since it is quite high up in the air, so, and you are, you know, you are a simple person or you are too young to climb the top, so let it be mine. And the lower part, the trunk and the roots and the other, you know, let it be yours. Do you agree? Yes, agreed, answered Azam cheerfully. And what about the blanket? Well, the third property remaining, he asked about it. It shall be mine only from sunset to sunrise. That's only during the night. It shall be yours for the whole day. Well, so this was the division of the blanket. He said, I'll use it at night time from sunset all the way till sunrise in the morning. It will be mine. And you can have it from dawn all the way till dusk. From sunrise all the way to sunset. The whole day you can keep the blanket. And I'll have it only during the night. Well, agreed, said Azam, thinking happily that it was a fair division. Well, he was so simple to think about it, you know. I don't think so. Most of the readers or most of the people would think that this was a just or a fair division. It was definitely an unfair division. But since the make of the story, we know it's just an imaginative thinking. So just to highlight how cunning and cruel the elder brother was and how simple and trusting was the younger brother, Well, the writer shows, or the storyteller shows that he agreed to all these three unjust conditions and accepted all the divisions. All right. Now, what's going to happen? Now, Muazzam would feed the cow and Azam would milk it. The younger brother, would feed the cow since the front part was his. He had to take care of it. And the hind part where milking is done, this was Azam, so he would milk it. He would not give a drop of milk to Muazzam. Instead, he would praise Muazzam for looking after the cow and feeding it so well. So that was only his reward in return for taking care of the cow, feeding it the whole day. What he would get in return, not a single drop of milk to drink. Rather, he would simply get few words, words of praise. Wow, you have done a magnificent job. You've done it great. You took care of the cow very nicely. This was only his reward he would get. It pleased the innocent younger brother so much that he gave even more grass to the cow, and the cow gave more milk. Well, so since he was very simple, innocent person, so he would feel better even on these words, by these words of praise and appreciation. Yes. So he would give more grass, to the cow, and ultimately the cow would give more milk. In the same manner, Muazzam regularly watered the date palm tree. When the dates were ripe for picking, Azam climbed the tree and picked all the fruit. He did not offer a single date to his younger brother. Right? So the same goes for the date palm tree. Since the lower part was of Muazzam's, so he would just take care of it, would water it, regularly. And when the time came to pick up the ripe dates, the elder brother Azam would, climb up, would pick all the dates, and he would not give even a single date to his younger brother. Of course, he praised him for looking after the tree so well. Muazzam was quite content with it. Right? So the same trick he played as in the case of the cow. He praised and appreciated his younger brother so that he would do more work and he would be happy. So the word content, and before that we read the word delighted. Delighted means feeling great pleasure. So, and the word content. Content means satisfied. He was very satisfied with this appreciation and good words from his elder brother. He was quite content with it. As regard the blanket, Muazzam had no use for it because it was hot during the day. At night, when it grew cold, he would shiver, while Azam enjoyed a deep, comfortable sleep under the warm blanket. Well, this was the height of cruelty. You can imagine an elder brother whose actual job should have been to take care of his younger brother, because he was elder. So he should have taken care. He should have sacrificed his own, comfort for the sake of his younger brother. But since he was so cruel to the core of his heart, he wouldn't think of his brother. At night, he would sleep under the blanket while the younger brother Muazzam would shiver out in the cold. And during the day, this blanket was of no use because during the day it was hot. This went on for some time. An old man of the village noticed how the younger brother was being cheated by the elder brother. So one day, the old man went to their house and found Muazzam feeding the cow. Well, so this went on, for some time, and ultimately people around in the village, an old man, he noticed what was going on. So he went to see Muazzam. He went and he asked, "Why are you feeding the cow?" said the old man. "Because the front part is mine," answered Muazzam. "And who gets the milk?" "My brother, because the rear part belongs to him," answered Muazzam innocently. Well, so this story was out then. An old man came to know that this was actually going on. He was taking care, he was feeding the cow because he believed that the front part is his. And, his elder brother is milking and getting the milk from the cow because that was his. All right, so does he give you any milk? Asked the old man. "No." "Then you are a fool. You look after the cow and feed her, and your brother gets the milk." Well, so he made him realize that he was a fool to accept such agreement terms. So he called him, "You are a fool because you are looking after the cow and he's getting all the benefit, But what can I do?" said Muazzam helplessly. He didn't know how to get rid of this agreement. So he said, what could he do? This is all according to the agreement between us. Now, he felt helpless because once he had agreed to that cruel agreement, so he couldn't do anything. He couldn't think of anything else. He couldn't think of any way to get out of this very cruel agreement. So here comes the part of that old man. So we'll see that how the old man would help this young boy, Muazzam, in such a way that agreement will still remain the same, but the benefit of these three things will be divided, equally, will be shared equally. "Come here and listen to me," the old man whispered something in his ear. So whisper is to say something, secretly or silently in somebody's ear. To speak silently, you may say. Using only the air, not from your throat, You don't vocalize it, you say something like this, in somebody's ear, so that means you whisper. All right? So he whispered something so that others, would not listen to what he was saying. He whispered something in his ear. Next morning, as usual, Azam began to milk the cow. Muazzam also came with a short stick and hit the cow's head. The cow moved this way and that. Well, so the advice given by the old man worked. So probably he guided him that this he should do the next morning while the elder brother was milking the cow. And when somebody is milking the animal, so it needs to be very, calm, and you should not disturb the animal, otherwise it would not let you milk it. So this younger brother, Muazzam, he came with a stick and started hitting the cow on its mouth. "Stop it," shouted Muazzam. "Don't you see I'm milking the cow? Don't disturb her." And the answer was, I'm only hitting the front part, which is mine. Said Muazzam, I shall do what I like with my part of the cow. Right? So, he said, since according to the agreement, the front part is mine. So, if I want to feed the animal, I can. But if I want to hit it, nobody can stop me from that. So, and any time I could hit the animal on my part. Well, Azam was a clever boy. So, he guessed that somebody had advised Muazzam to do that. Well, but he couldn't do anything about it. All right, I shall give you half the milk and now stop feeding the cow. And you must also share in the feeding of the cow, said Muazzam, and Azam had to agree to this. Well, this is how he caught him, Muazzam, Azam now couldn't do anything. He had to agree that he would give half the milk to his younger brother, and not only this, he would also share in feeding the cow. So this one problem with one property was solved. This now would be shared equally. Both of them are going to feed the cow, and both will get the milk equally. After a few days, Azam climbed the date palm tree to pick ripe dates. He had hardly collected a handful of dates when he heard the sound of an axe striking the tree. He looked down and saw Muazzam was cutting the trunk of the tree with an axe. Hey, what are you doing? Shouted Azam. Don't you see I'm up here picking dates? Well, so now come to the second property, the date palm, which Azam was enjoying, picking up the dates before and wasn't giving anything to Muazzam. Now, as he was picking up the dates, he went there with an axe and started cutting the trunk of the tree. And obviously, Azam would lose everything if he cuts it all. I'm only cutting my part of the tree, said Muazzam, and went on cutting. I shall give you half of the dates, but you must stop cutting the tree, called out Azam. Well, now he agreed to give half of the date fruit to his brother Azam, and he requested him to stop cutting it. And you must also share in watering the tree, shouted Muazzam, and Azam had to agree to this too. Well, the second problem was also solved. Now, the same night when Azam came to take the blanket, he found that it was wet. It was soaked in water, right? Well, this was the final, trick, which probably was told by an old man, that since this blanket is yours during the day, you can, soak it wet, put it in water, so that it cannot be used by his brother, at night time. What have you done with this blanket? He asked. How can I sleep under it? I don't know, answered Muazzam innocently. It's mine during the daytime, and I can do with it what I please. Well, so, probably Azam, he understood that, he cannot befool his younger brother for a long time. All his tricks and, his cunningness, his cleverness was revealed to his younger brother, and that's why he was doing it all. So, very well, my dear brother, from tomorrow night we shall share the blanket, said Azam. We shall sleep together and shall be more comfortable. So now, the third property was equally shared. It would be shared between both of these brothers at night. Both of them, he said, would sleep under the blanket at night comfortably, right? Well, so comfortable means free from stress. Free stress and tension. So he said we will have no tension, no stress, because now the blanket will be equally shared between both of them. So what we learn from this short folklore is that you cannot deceive people for a long time, ultimately your deception, your tricks will be revealed, and then obviously you'll have to face, shame and, insult, obviously. So it's better not to do such things in your life. All right. So with this, we come to an end to our reading and comprehension. Now, there are certain exercises at the end of this passage which you have to do. First one is comprehension. They are very straightforward, simple questions. Okay, you need to, copy the answers from your book. All the answers are mentioned within the passage. All right. So, for example, question number 1 says, "What property did the two brothers inherit from their father?" So we know that they inherited 3 properties. One was a cow, the second was a date palm tree, and the third was a blanket. So these were the 3 properties. Now question number 2, what was the suggestion of Azam about the division of the property? Well, so for all 3 of these you have to write down. For cow, he said the front part is his brother's and the rear parts is his. And for the date palm tree, he said the top part is his and the lower trunk and the tree and the roots are his brother's. And finally, about the blanket, we know that he said it was, it was his, Azam's, during the night time, and it was his brother's during the daytime. Why did Muazzam agree to this division? Well, we know that he was a simple person, he was simple, innocent and trusting person, and he thought that his elder brother was generous, so that's why he agreed to this division. Who fed the cow and who got the milk? We know that Muazzam fed the cow and Azam, the elder brother, got the milk. Why did Azam not give dates to Muazzam? Well, he did not give dates to Muazzam because he, according to the agreement, the top part, the front part of the date palm tree belonged to him and the lower part belonged to Muazzam. Was the blanket of any use to Muazzam? No, it was not of any use because it was hot during the daytime. What did Muazzam do when Azam was milking the cow? Well, he started hitting the cow on its mouth while Azam was milking the cow. What did Muazzam do when Azam began to pick the dates? Well, he started cutting the trunk of the tree with an axe. And what did Muazzam do to the blanket? Well, he soaked it in water and made it wet. And what did Azam say to Muazzam about the blanket? Well, finally he said that they would, from the next night they would share the blanket, and they would sleep together and shall be more comfortable. Well, these were all the comprehension questions. Now, words meaning, well, this exercise B, I told you these 7 or 8 words, you can write the meaning of these and find out, some more words, in the dictionary and write it down in your notebook. Exercise B. Now, exercise C, fill in the blanks in the following sentences by choosing the words from the list given below. So a list of words is given, and the sentences, there are blanks, so you need to fill in these blanks with the words in the list. So sentence number 1, their mother had died in their childhood. Okay, so the word childhood will come here. His younger brother Muazzam was dash and dash. We know that he was simple and trusting. These two adjectives will come in these blanks. Number 3, Azam, the elder brother, was very. We know he was very greedy and clever. Greedy and clever. So number 4, Azam dash that they should dash the property dash by their father. Okay, so Azam suggested that they should divide the property left by their, they should divide the property left by their father. We shall just divide it verbally. So the word divide comes again here. Yes. Then number 6, Muazzam was dashed with the dash of his elder brother. We know that Muazzam was satisfied. So the word here used is content. He was content with the generosity of his elder brother. Then it shall be mine only from dash to dash. This is what Azam said, that this shall be mine only from sunset to sunrise. I mean during the whole night. This is what he means. Number 8, now Muazzam would dash the cow and Azam would dash it. So Muazzam would feed the cow and Azam would milk it. And 9, he did not offer. He did not offer even a single date to his younger brother. Muazzam was quite dash with it, was quite content with it. And 11 is Azam enjoyed a deep sleep under the warm blanket. So almost, Muazzam was quite delighted now. So here, when we use the word content here in number 10, so in number 6 we can use the word delighted in place of, instead of content, say Muazzam was delighted with the generosity of his elder brother. So this is a correction you can make. And number 6 we'll use delighted, and number 10 we can use the word content. Okay. Exercise D says make nouns from the following verbs and use them in sentences of your own. So we know that we can make noun. We know noun is a name of a person, place, thing, idea, etc. And verb is an action or a state, word. So die, for example, is a verb. For example, he died last year, and the noun would be death. So how will you use it in a sentence? For example, we might say, death is the ultimate end of life. Death, for example, is one of the greatest realities of life. So when we use it as a noun, we use the word death instead of die. Then advise. Advise is a verb. As a verb, for example, you say, my father advised me to work hard. As a verb, advise. And as a noun, we use advice. So when you use it as a noun, we use advice with CE. For example, I always try to follow my teacher's or my mother's advice. All right, with apostrophe S, we use noun advice. In the same way, divide and Divide is a verb and division is a noun. So the property was divided equally among brothers, right? So divide as a verb, past tense divided, and division. For example, we say Muslim was delighted or satisfied with the division of property as a noun. In the same way, suggest. Suggest is a verb. For example, you say, he suggested me to start my own business, right? And the noun would be suggestion. Normally people read it suggestion, but the right pronunciation is suggestion. So for example, I accepted his suggestion about the business. Okay, so as a noun, suggestion; as a verb, suggest. Then the next is agree. Agree is a verb, and the noun would be agreement. So we add ment to make it noun, agree. For example, I totally agree with you. The opposite will be disagree. And noun, there was an agreement between me and him about anything, all right? So we say agreement as a noun, agree as a verb. Well, and the last word is feed. Feed is a verb and food is a noun. For example, we know among these two brothers, the younger brother Muslim would feed the cow, right? And food is a noun. For example, these days food items are getting more and more expensive. Food is the noun. Okay. Well, there is another exercise. B, make nouns from the following adjectives. Okay. So some adjectives are given and we need to make a little change to make them, convert them into nouns. So the first adjective is, so here are adjectives and here are nouns. So adjective is clear. For example, the sky is clear today, there are no clouds, and the noun is clarity. Okay, clarity is the noun. For example, you say you need clarity in your ambition in life to succeed. So clear, you should be clear in your mind. So you should have clarity of ambition in your life. In the same way, greedy is adjective. Okay, we know that this Azam was a greedy person, and greed is noun. We know the popular story of a dog with a bone, right? And the moral is greed is curse, right? So greed, if you remove y, it becomes noun. Greed is a noun, greedy is adjective. Then generous is adjective. The noun will be generosity. Generosity. So the younger brother was content with the generosity of his elder brother. Generosity, noun, right? And he thought that his elder brother was generous. As an adjective, it will be generous. Then stupid, in the same way, stupid is adjective and stupidity is noun, right? Then we have innocent is adjective. So we change it into noun as innocence, innocence, right? Then simple is adjective and simplicity is the noun. So he was a simple person, adjective, and I like his simplicity, right? So simplicity is noun. And the last word, young, is adjective and the noun is youth. For example, both of them, they were young boys, and we say youth is, the most energetic part of one's life. Youth, that period of life when somebody is young, is called youth. Okay. Well, then we have an exercise. Complete the following sentences by using proper tense of the verb placed in brackets against each sentence. Well, most of these sentences will use past perfect tense. Okay, so I'll just give you a little idea of how do we use past perfect tense, and then we'll do the exercise together. So, past perfect. Well, in past perfect, the first thing is, with all subjects we use had, then we use past participle or third form of the verb. Okay, this is how we use the structure, object and then extension. Well, for example, he had done his work before he left his house. Normally, past perfect tense comes in combination with past simple tense. Means in a sentence where we use past perfect, normally we have another clause where we use past simple. And the use of past perfect is when two actions are completed in the past, the action which happened first in time, right, we use past perfect for that, right? So you have to remember that normally both actions, they were completed in the past. So the action that happened before some other thing, or it happened first in time, we use past perfect or had with third form of the verb with that, right? So here in these exercises, these you'll see first four sentences, they are the examples of past perfect, and all of them, one verb is past simple and the other verb is past perfect. For example, we say number one, Azam dash that somebody dash his younger brother. So we have two verbs, guess and advise. So what happened first? Either he guessed it first or somebody advised him first. So we know that somebody advised, that old man advised him first in time. So with that verb, we'll use had, or we'll use it in past perfect, and the other verb, guess, will be used in past simple. So we'll say Azam guessed, past simple, that somebody had advised his younger brother. Now sentence 2, my guests dash before I return, before I dash. So we have the verbs go and return. So which one happened first? Did he return first or did somebody go first? So according to the sentence, we know that somebody, the guests went earlier and he came late after. So that's why we'll say my guests had gone before I returned. Sentence 3, when he dashed out of the cinema house, the rain dashed. Well, so we know, we'll see, we have the verbs come and stop. So which thing happened first? So the rain stopped earlier, okay, and he came out of the cinema house after. So you say when he came out of the cinema house, the rain had stopped. So the rain stopped earlier, before he came out, so that's why we use had stopped. Number 4, the train dashed before he dashed the station. Leave and reach, we know that the train left earlier and he reached later, so that's why we'll say the train had left before he reached the station. So these 4 sentences were from past perfect, examples of past perfect. Now sentence number 5, simply past simple, because yesterday is used. We say Ajmal was ill yesterday, so he could not attend the school. So could is the past of can. When somebody is able or not able to do something in the past, we use the modal verb could or could not. So he could not attend the school. But remember, we always use base form of the verb with all the modal verbs. Will, shall, can, could, may, might. We simply use base form. So here we'll use attend. The last one, Mozam was simple and was easily tricked by Azam. So in the first 2, we use the be verb. Past of be verb is was. So he was simple and was easily tricked. Now the second one is passive structure. That's why we use past participle form of the verb trick. We know that be plus third form of the verb is passive structure. So he was easily tricked by his brother Azam. Okay. Now exercise D says fill in the blanks with suitable preposition. So simply we'll quickly do this exercise. He is fond dash reading books. So we know that with fond we use the preposition of. So he is fond of reading books. Najma is not interested. Normally it is followed by the preposition in. I'm not interested in playing sports, or Najma is not interested in games. Ajmal is good dash mathematics. So we use the preposition at with good. He is good at playing basketball, for example. So Ajmal is good at mathematics. He is not fit dash his job. So fit for this job. He is not fit for this job. He is fit for this job. So we use for with fit. The baby is crying for its mother. The nurse looks after the patient. So this is phrasal verb. Look after someone means to take care of someone. So the nurse looks after the patient. The patient has been cured of his disease. Okay, so he is cured of his disease. Or somebody, for example, we say died of some disease. He died of pneumonia. So we use of in this case. He has given dash smoking. So again there is a phrasal verb with give. When we add up, it means to leave some activity, right? So he has given up smoking mean he has stopped, or he has left smoking, he has stopped doing it. Right? So to give up something means to leave some activity. I'm used to taking tea without sugar. Some students might be surprised that how can ing form of the verb comes after to. Well, that's possible. Normally we don't use it, but remember this to is not used with taking. This comes with to. All right? This simply means being habitual of something. So I'm used to something means I am habitual of doing something. All right. So I'm used to taking tea without sugar means I am habitual. This is my habit that I take tea without sugar. Right. So don't be surprised that after to, how can ing form of the verb comes. That is a gerund. Taking is gerund. It names an activity. Okay, and it simply means I am habitual of taking tea without sugar. I'm used to taking tea without sugar. We should be proud of our country. Normally we use of after the verb, after the adjective proud. Okay, proud of something, fond of something. So this is how we use it. Well, these two sentences, you can easily change them into passive. The old man advised Muslim. So Muslim was advised by the old man. Muslim fed and looked after the cow. So the cow was fed and looked after by Muslim. Then exercise E, composition. How did Azam cheat Muslim? We know that he cheated his brother Muslim by making unjust division of the property, where he would get all the benefit and the taking care part would be done by his brother. This is how he cheated his brother. What was the effect of the old man's advice on Muslim? Well, the effect was that he understood that his brother was cheating him, was deceiving him, and then he showed it to his brother, and finally he got the fair share of the property. Why did Muslim give up cheating Muslim? Because he was caught red-handed, and his brother Muslim, he caught him, and he had no other choice but to divide the property and to give up cheating, right? How will you behave with your younger brother? I hope it's a personal answer, but I hope nobody is going to behave with his or her younger brother like Azam did. Obviously, we love our younger brothers and we are always there to help them. Well, most of us would definitely be there to help them, to sacrifice even for them, and to take care of them. Right? So with this, we come to an end. Now, please note down the homework. We did all the exercises. So as a homework, you will do these exercises in your notebook. Exercises. Exercise C. Now it has these parts: A, B, C, D, and E. Exercise D. C, and then D, A, B, C, and D. These exercises, plus you will do again words meaning first, and then question answers, and then you will note down these exercises in your notebook. That is your homework. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson, and read it again and again, and then find out what are other folklores of our culture. Google it and you'll find some good examples of other folk tales of our community, our culture, traditional stories. They are a good way of improving your language if you read them in English, and to build up awareness of any tradition, of any culture. They are going to give you an insight into the mindset of any community, culture, and all that. All right. So with this, we come to an end of today's video lesson. Thank you and goodbye.